The name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. May all thanks be to Allah, Lord of all, and may Allah the Almighty bestow His peace and blessings on our Prophet Muhammad, the last and the Imam of all messengers, the mercy to the worlds, and upon his kind and pure kin and his loyal companions, and all who follow till Judgment Day. Furthermore, my dear viewers, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you, and I welcome you to this new episode in the realm of the Holy Quran. We are still discussing and rebutting these accusations that are brought up by the adversaries of Islam about the Holy Quran, which is the word of Allah Almighty, the honest true revelation, the last testament from Allah the Almighty to His creation delivered by our Prophet Muhammad. May peace and prayers and blessings be upon him. I've seen of these allegations what some have wrote here and there, with pencils of oppression and misguidance. Some of the sentences structure of the Holy Quran do not abide by the rules of the language. You would find tenses that are not in their common form. You would find whom used for who, and the other way round, who used instead of whom. The adversaries of Islam do not know that the usage of the language by Arabs is what the scholars follow when interpreting the Holy Quran. We find in the books of the Quran interpretation many proofs, numerous proofs. Some of these proofs are related to the spoken Arabic or Arabic poetry, even in the era before Islam. And some of it is related to the hadith of the Prophet, may Allah bestow His peace and blessings upon him and upon his kin. And all these proofs are considered as a means of support to the different usage that we guide and follow the text of the Quran for better interpretation. For that, the scholars said what we will explain in the meaning of the following verse. Allah Almighty said, "It is not righteousness that you turn your faces towards east and west, but righteousness the one who believes in Allah, the last day, the angels, the book, the prophets, and gives his wealth in spite of love for it, to the kinsfolk, to the orphans, and to the poor, and to the wayfarer, and those who ask, and to set slaves free, and perform prayers, and gives the zakat, and who fulfill their covenant." Then Allah said, "Whom are patient and enduring," and did not say, "Who are patient and enduring." Not who, but whom, even though that all others described in the verse were referred to with who. It is well known to the scholars that the change in the form here was to distinguish in commemorating those whom are of a patient nature. In another verse, when Allah Almighty says, "And his wife too whom carries wood," this designation is to reprimand and to show disregard. The verse is correct, would it have been, "And his wife too who carries wood." So this is a usage where whom is used in lieu of who. Also to find a verb in a form. As in the following verse, Allah Almighty said, "And we took a covenant from the children of Israel, shed not the blood of yours." Shed not, the form of the verb may sound as if it is not a firm order, and it is a present tense of the verb. I say that this order from Allah the Almighty, "Shed not the blood of yours," is part of the true story Allah tells us in the Holy Quran. And because this part of the text, which is "Shed not the blood of yours," is a part of the story, it should be linguistically treated as such. So it is not a forbidding order, not a forbidding order for the present person who is listening, but it is a forbidding order for the sons of Israel in the past. Shed not the blood of yours. You can say the same about some of the Quran's compositions of the verses. In the cases where the Holy Quran uses a different preposition, or one preposition in lieu of the other, this is common in the Holy Quran, but they did not study the different styles, and did not study these two great sciences, the two sciences that the interpreters of the Holy Quran stressed, that they should be well considered when explaining the Holy Quran. They said it is a must for the interpreter, it is a must for him to know these two great OD sciences. Imam al-Zamakhshari said that, and others said the same. the science of meaning and the science of representation, for the Quran was sent down with an Arabic tongue. If the Quran was sent down with an Arabic tongue, then we must find in it all that is needed by mankind, or all what mankind asks for. Of these instructions that exhibit the beauty of the Holy Quran and exhibits its miraculous form. The miracle of the Holy Quran may be exclusive to its short articulation, and this is known of what we are studying today, known as the style of inclusion. There are other styles that the Holy Quran uses. The style of inclusion is one of these styles. All these styles the Holy Quran may use. Inclusion. What is inclusion? Inclusion means to state a ruling in the holy text, or to state news in the holy text. While you want to include in this news another news or another meaning, but keeping the text short or concise, so it is a miraculous form to have a short, concise text with a strong, well-understood meaning. Again, I say to have a brief and concise text with a big meaning included in it. For example, Allah the Almighty says in the Holy Quran, in regard to the Prophet Noah, may the peace and prayers and blessings be upon him, Allah Almighty says, we helped him against the people who denied our verses. The meaning of the verse is, we made him victorious of the people who denied our verses. They say that the verse should read victorious over, not victorious of. Why did the Quran say of, not over? For example, we say, Allah, we ask you to make us victorious over our enemies. We do not say victorious of our enemies. We say over, not of. So it is victorious over, not victorious of. For that we ask, why did the holy text use of instead of over? Why change the preposition in the text? Why change from over to of? This is what we call inclusion. Victory has two sides or faces. Victory over enemies has two faces. This first one is in which Allah protects His servant from their guile, cunning, deception, provoking the evil and stalking him, etc. This would be one part of victory, or from the faces of victory. Meaning to be victorious is not just beating your enemy, or overcoming him, or Allah taking him, or breaking his back. But victory has two faces, has two sides. One is related to you, and another face that reflects on the first one. The face or side that is related to me is that Allah the Almighty protects me from his guile and cunning. The second is where Allah the Almighty destroys him, that Allah destroys him. So by this definition, victory has two sides or faces. So in the verse we are discussing, Allah the Almighty wanted to include with the main side, which is the destruction of the enemy, wanted to include the other face or side of victory with it, which is the protection from the enemy. The first side is understood when Allah Almighty said, we made him victorious, then said victorious of, meaning victorious of being harmed by those who do not believe, and this is the second face or side. So I say again, my dear viewers, with the placement of the preposition or changing the preposition in a sentence, the meaning was expanded to cover more ground and give a wider meaning. All of this is derived from the changing of the preposition from over to of. So the meaning here is that Allah the Almighty has included two meanings regarding victory. One is the defeat of the enemy, and the other is to save and protect. And that is the second face. And as I said, what is meant by inclusion, or the style of inclusion. I also state another example from what the Almighty said in the Holy Quran. A spring whereof drink those nearest to Allah. A spring whereof, a spring. A person drinks from a spring of water. You drink from a glass, or from the spring, or from the spring. We leave you for a short break to continue after this meaning, the meaning of the inclusion in the verse. For the break, we recited Allah Almighty's words, a spring whereof drink those nearest to Allah, and we said that drinking is from something, whether a glass or a vessel, so it should be said from, not whereof a glass or a spring, so why say whereof? A spring whereof drink those nearest to Allah. This is inclusion again, because there is no thirst in heaven, so people do not drink out of thirst in heaven, but they drink to enjoy and be blessed. So this is a form of enjoyment, a form of merriment. Drinking in heaven is never because or out of being thirsty, but it is of being blessing out of pleasure and enjoyment. So the meaning would be as if he said they drink whereof with pleasure and enjoying its taste. This is inclusion, and the meaning of inclusion is to have two meanings or more in a short, concise text. We find the same meaning in another text of the Holy Quran, when Allah the Almighty said, "And He it is who has withheld their hands from you, and your hands from them in the midst of Mecca, after He had made you victorious to them." This is another case where the preposition is used to extend the meaning. To extend the meaning of the word victory by using a different preposition. Why say to be victorious over? We do not say to be victorious to. This is the origin of the verb. To be victorious over. For example, we say, victorious over someone, or over his enemy, meaning to beat him, meaning to win over him, or conquer him. But God Almighty wanted to include this meaning of victory, another meaning. Glory be to Him, another meaning to expand the meaning, but yet keeping a concise text, as a sign of the miracle of the Holy Quran. So Allah Almighty said, after He made you victorious to them, so that would mean on top of them at all times. Not only you were victorious over them, but to them, meaning in all times, and in more than one aspect of winning. So you achieved victory in the confrontation, and in life, so you are victorious to them, meaning all in all, not just over them in battle. I also mention in this meaning, my dear viewers, Allah the Almighty's words. My Lord is the most courteous and kind for whom or what He wills. My Lord is the most courteous and kind for whom or what He wills. Again we say a different preposition, used in lieu of another preposition. Allah Almighty says, courteous and kind for whom? For courteous and kind for whom? Where usually it would be courteous and kind unto whom? So Allah said for, not unto. So why was the for used instead of unto? Allah wanted, as I said, to include more than one meaning, and also include and expand the meaning. So Allah Almighty said, for whom or what He will, meaning not only courteous and kind unto them, no. The verse is not limited to this part. It is more than that. It is a meaning that covers more ground than this. The meaning is expanded and includes more. It includes more meanings. Allah is courteous and kind for. So, it is more broad. It is a more broad word than unto. For would mean for all, their lives, in glory and blessing, in all that may be needed. So the preposition for gives more of a comprehensive meaning, a meaning that is not limited to just one instance, but that fills in all directions, going both ways and confirming both ways. It has the will of Allah and the grace of Allah. All of this is because of the changing of one preposition from unto to for. This, my dear viewers, is a miraculous portrait of the Holy Quran, of Allah's book. And this is what we mean with inclusion. We also find this when we read the verse in which Allah Almighty says, "The people of Noah belied the messengers." In the previous verse, Allah the Almighty speaks to them in a feminine term and description, meaning the nation of Noah. That is why Allah spoke about them in a feminine sense, spoke to them in a term as a nation, not as people. Why? Because Noah was one of them. They were his people, as in kin and relatives. So Allah Almighty mentioned them as his nation. Allah Almighty said and spoke about them as being his nation. The people of Noah belied the messengers. Ad belied the messengers. For that Allah Almighty said, when their brother Noah said to them, when their brother Hud said to them. Tamud belied the messengers. Their brother Salih said to them, the people of Lut belied the messengers. When their brother Lut said to them, which leads to this meaning, or this conclusion when Allah Almighty spoke about Shu'aib, or when he spoke about the dwellers of Al-Aika. We want to notice first that Shu'aib was sent to Madian, so his people are Madian, but for the dwellers of the Al-Aika, he was sent to them being near to his people, meaning he was sent to them being his neighbors, not his people. Shu'aib was from Madian, not from Al-Aika, for he was not their brother, meaning not their blood brother. So the Holy Quran talks about the people and nation of these holy prophets, peace and praise be upon them all, in two forms of speech. From these forms of speech we can tell that there is an included meaning, and that is why the form of the sentence was changed. The nation of Noah, the nation of Ad, the nation of Thamud, the nation of Lut, all these nations, the nation of Noah, the nation of Ad, the nation of Thamud, and the nation of Lut, belied the messengers, as the Holy Quran said. But when the Quran came to mention the dwellers of Al-Aika, the verse said, the people of Shu'aib, not the nation, because they were not his nation, but he was sent to them when he was sent to his people, the people of Madian. For that, the form of the holy verse points out to people, not to nation, and did not say, their brother told them, but said, Shu'aib told them, unlike the other verses in the Holy Quran, elsewhere in the Holy Quran, where it said, to Madian was sent their brother Shu'aib. Their brother we sent. So saying their brother here confirms that he indeed was one of them, and they were his nation. They were his kin, meaning we sent to Madian, the brother or relative, Shu'aib. To Madian, we sent them a brother. The Prophet, peace and praise be upon him, Shu'aib. We've sent them a brother, not a stranger. So brotherhood was mentioned when Madian was mentioned, and not when the dwellers of Al-Aika were mentioned, but he was sent to them when he was sent to his people, the people of Madian, not the nation. This is one portrait from the many that the Holy Quran presents to us, and that may cause some misunderstanding to some, and even cast some doubt and illusion into one's thinking. In this regard, some may ask and say, why was this preposition used, not the other preposition? I say, this is what we talked about, which is inclusion, meaning having two or more meanings in one concise sentence. and may Allah bestow His peace, blessings and prayers upon our Prophet Muhammad and his honorable kin.